All right, the more and more I think about this, terrorist attack in Palagram, the more I come to the same conclusion is how could Pakistan, why would Pakistan do something so stupid? Something that will not benefit them at all. And the timing just doesn't seem normal. They're not in the position to do something like this.
Now,
But
again, the same thing is...
You do admit, sir, that Pakistan has had a long history of backing and supporting and training and funding these terrorist organizations.
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
So that's your argument that even though
that was a mistake, and we suffered for that, and that is why you are saying this to me.
We're talking about 2 nuclear powers. Should the world be worried about this moment?
Yes, I think so.
I say to the whole world, India will identify, track, and punish every terrorist and their backers.
Well, this one should have the whole world responding as a DEFCON 5. It might even have the momentum to supersede the Ukraine, Russia, and Israeli and Palestine conflicts. And everybody who understands what's going on here understands, but those of you who don't should. Pakistan's defense minister has just come clean with who he thinks is responsible for the terrorist attacks in Palagram, where at least 26 people were killed, over 40 wounded by a terrorist group that was supposedly birthed in Pakistan. And what has come about and what's been exposed within this interview is something that many people are shocked about, and also it calls for a timeout, it seems, before India fires back with brute force that would have astronomical implications, not only for India and Pakistan, but for the world, without question. The world would feel the effects of this. The big question that everybody's asking about this attack is why now? What's the purpose in destabilizing India at a time when the country has been on a path towards becoming the most economically stable and prosperous, one of the most economically stable and prosperous countries in the world? It sounds like a move that the West would make on one of its own enemies. But for the United States to do this against India, one of its greatest allies, in really a genuine friendship between Modi and Trump, it just doesn't seem rational. Which is the reason why it's time to take a further look and investigate the situation with a fine-tooth comb, instead of allowing the emotions to determine the outcome, where innocent people end up taking the punishment for a crime they didn't commit, where those who are actually guilty of the crime are actually benefiting from the actions of the crime, and they get their way. One clear and present danger, the major factor in this, is that they both have nukes. They're both nuclear powers. And Pakistan has just expressed that they're not counting that out should things escalate or progress into an all-out war.
There are 2 nuclear powers in the subcontinent. And if things get wrong, there could be a tragic outcome of this confrontation.
Terrorism will not go unpunished.
What message do you have to Delhi?
And there's a possibility that there is a outbreak of all-out war, which will have serious repercussions not only for our region, for our countries, but rest of the world also.
Now, a lot of people out there still think that this war would be fair, that it would be even between the parties of Pakistan and India, but that couldn't be any further than the truth. It would be like this. What just happened, what we would just see, would be like Hamas hitting Israel and saying, oh man, we made a big mistake. And here's a quick analysis from Palki Sharma Upate of First Post, giving a breakdown of a few things that India just happens to have in its disposal to combat the terrorism of Pakistan.
Yesterday, the Indian Air Force launched Exercise Akraman. The word Akraman literally translates to attack. Rafale and Su-30 jets are in the skies. So the message is loud and clear. India's military is switching gears to offensive mode. The drills are taking place over central India. The Air Force now has Rafale jets. These jets can carry two lethal weapons. The first is the Meteor. This is a long-range air-to-air missile. It can hit targets more than 150 kilometers away. The second is the Scalp missile, a long-range air-to-ground missile. It can take out terror camps 500 kilometers away.
You're going to see Trump give Modi whatever he wants, whatever he needs, if he needs it. They have so many weapons right now, he might not even need to call Trump up. But if he did, he would get whatever he wanted from the Americans, for sure.
Long-range missiles and bombs have been integrated into the Su-30 jets, like the Astra and the BrahMos, a supersonic cruise missile that has 99.99% accuracy. Apache attack helicopters are now in the ranks. The transport fleet has newer aircraft. What about defense? I'm talking about the S-400 air defense system. They can take down targets 400 kilometers away, which is basically every Pakistani airbase. Every Pakistani airbase is in range. The S-400 was missing in 2019, but now it is fully deployed. India's surveillance network has expanded with satellites and drones. Procurement for the armed forces has significantly increased, like the Pinaka rocket systems, aircraft carriers and nuclear submarines. Air bases and logistical hubs have been upgraded. Weapons manufacturing has seen a 174% rise. 174%. And you know what has been the biggest change in the last few years? The mindset. Offense is the best defense. It is a signal to Islamabad. India's patience is not its weakness. India is ready to respond to terrorism on its terms and at a time of its choosing.
So many people believe that Asim Munir, the army general, holds all the cards. He has more say than the president or prime minister of Pakistan. And at face value, when I heard his speech about Muslims and Hindus can't live together, okay, well, that's fine. Then they're separate states. I get that. But because I was a little bit uneducated on a lot of the history of India, this television announcer, the first post, she gave a very good explanation as to what it really meant when he was saying this. And it kind of opened my eyes up a little bit more to the situation. And I'd like you to hear this as well as the general's comments as she replies to them. And let me know what you think.
Well, our forefathers, they thought that we are different from the Hindus in every possible aspect of life. Our religion is different. Our customs are different. Our traditions are different. Our thoughts are different. Our ambitions are different. That was the foundation of the two-nation theory that was laid there. That we are two nations. We are not one nation. So because of that, our forefathers, they struggled, mounted that incessant struggle to create this country.
Now, some background here. Before 1947, there was no Pakistan. Indian Hindus and Muslims used to live together. But Jinnah demanded a separate nation, a nation exclusively for Muslims. He justified this demand using the two-nation theory. He claimed that Hindus and Muslims could never live together in harmony. Thus, a Muslim Pakistan was necessary. Why is General Munir talking about this now, almost 8 decades later? We'll come to that in a bit, but first, listen to what the general said on Kashmir.
Government stance on Kashmir is absolutely clear. It was our jugular vein. It is our jugular vein. We will not forget it. And we will not leave our Kashmiri brethren in their heroic struggle, what they are waging against the Indian occupation.
The general is right about one thing. We are very different countries and societies. India is exporting iPhones and laptops to the world. Pakistan is exporting terrorists. India is planning to send people to space. Pakistan is sending beggars to Saudi Arabia. India is aiding and assisting low-income countries. Pakistan is living loan to loan. India is pushing back against Chinese expansionism. Pakistan is willingly becoming a Chinese colony. India's cricket league has become the envy of the world. Meanwhile, Pakistan's cricket league is gifting hair dryers to top performers. India has criticized his comments. New Delhi is asking Pakistan to vacate Kashmir.
How can anything foreign be there in a jugular vein? It is this is a union territory of India. Its only relationship with Pakistan is the vacation of illegally occupied territories by that country.
But what triggered all of this? What awoke the sleeping Jinnah inside General Munir? Simple. Circumstances. Pakistan is at its weakest point in decades. Let's look at their economy first. 40% people in Pakistan live in poverty. The currency has depreciated, and listen to this, 177% in the last decade. Unemployment has risen from 1.5% to 7%. Total debt stands at $280 billion, which is around 83% of their GDP. For most countries, this would be the primary challenge, fixing their economy. But not for Pakistan. Their biggest challenge is security. Pakistan's provinces are virtually in open rebellion. Baloch insurgents are striking at will. Last month, they hijacked a train.
Up to that point, and I could be wrong, she could be right. But wouldn't this be the most unopportunistic time when the country is in dire need of funds, when they don't have any money? Wouldn't this be the time not to engage in a war or engage in terrorist activities when you're trying to have stability for more loans from the World Bank and IMF? I think that's what it's all about anyway, right? Let me know what you think, and I'm going to continue this because they had the general got up and said a few more things, and she rebuffed it.
It is in this backdrop that Asim Munir took the stage. His country is pulling apart. His soldiers are being hunted, and his economy is in ruins. Yesterday, the general issued a warning to these insurgents. And even here, he dragged in India. Listen in.
You think terrorists, they can take away the destiny of the country from us? If this great Pakistani nation and the Pakistani armed forces, if 1.3 million Indian army with all their wherewithal, if they cannot intimidate us and they cannot coerce us, these terrorists can subdue the armed forces of Pakistan.
If you're a Pakistani, there are many ways to interpret this: a desperate rant, a declaration of war on insurgents, or an exercise in hate. But for India, the message is quite clear. Pakistan has no intention of fixing its relations with New Delhi. It is not going to abandon the Kashmir issue either. If anything, they could double down because Pakistan's generals are masters of distraction. Economy not doing well? Rewind to the two-nation theory. No jobs for the youth? Appeal to their Islamic beliefs. No end to insurgent attacks in provinces? Make up an imaginary threat from India. Asim Munir did all of this with one speech yesterday. I'm sure he saw it as a glorious moment in his career of election rigging and meddling, but in reality, he looked weak and afraid.
She was pretty forthright in that. Many agree with her. I think the vast majority agree with what she's saying. But there's still a lot of questions that need to be answered regarding who these terrorists were. Now would not be the time. But they did it anyway. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. My hearts and our thoughts and our prayers go out to those victims in India. God bless you. One love, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.